Okay. I can't see comments. That's the only thing. So that's the 1910s. Yeah, yeah. There's a 30-second delay. Okay. Oh, you see them. Okay. Things are going well. I can't complain. Um, I had a I, people are gonna get upset when I say this, but I had 3 days where I had a case go through that I lost, and then I called and they reversed it. Um, Basically, what happened was a customer. Granada is in Spain. Okay, I should have known that. I had a customer that basically was like,
Mm-hmm.
item showed up at their house. You know the whole story, right? The item shows up at their house.
Right.
They have a thing on their door that says don't drop it at the door. They try a few times. It goes back to the post office. They don't want to pick it up. They're like, just give me my money back. I don't want it anymore. And I'm like, this isn't how this works. So they call customer service. Customer service opens a case and they win. So I call concierge and they're like, no, 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 that's not how it works. They made a mistake. You were right. Don't worry. We're we're granting the appeal. Everything else, it was fine, perfect. But I had 3 very bad days, and I showed you the charts. I had 3 really bad days while they were sorting through all this. And on the third day, I could feel it coming back because the stuff that I was selling was the very first stuff I ever listed, and this always happens to me. So I'm like, okay, today's not going to be great, but I think tomorrow it will be good. And then all of a sudden, it was like 12 o'clock midnight on Saturday last night, which is 9 p.m. your time. Bang! It was like bang, 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 and it was just flying. And then today has been flying as well. So
Well, real quick, the chat. Can you guys hear me? Because I think I fixed my audio, but I think Josh is a little bit of the whole
laggy.
Japanese 1970s movie action going on.
Oh, nice. My
So,
favorite. That's all right.
are we okay, guys?
I may be lagging. It's the software on your end. I don't know why it
It
takes
might
for
be.
me.
Let me tell you something here. I as soon as so when I saw you went live, I was thinking, okay, I was gonna go live a little bit later. I was gonna finish dinner and then jump on live, and I'm like, okay, I'll just hang out, watch Josh, and while I'm eating. And then you're like, well, you called me. Like, shit. And I get the phone call, and I'm like, well, I guess I could set something up. But then I realized that I didn't have it set up for a guest for the live, so I had to rush over here to
Okay.
OBS Studio and set up a real quick format. That's why I was trying to buy as much time as I could to get it to where you would show up and some kind of backdrop. This is probably not the way I'm going to have it set up going forward. And you just see just a screen. You don't even really see me really the way it's set up for you. So it is sort of a shit show, but I apologize to each and every one of you guys. We didn't have to do it like this. I was kind of content watching your live, but it's cool
I
that.
like it that you're talking because then I can do a little bit of work. So then I
So
can,
you want me to go on my diatribe, right?
yeah, exactly. But so to answer your question, sales have been phenomenal for me. Very, very good. Then I had 3 days of not great, and I was basically just buying for those 3 days. I was like, I'm not even gonna list anything, but I think I did even list a lot still. And now I'm back rocking and roll again. So Not happening.
So yeah, that's just what I have going on, just so everyone can see that. I don't know if anyone was able to see that, but that's what I have going on. And you know what happened? I was muted when I was explaining what was happening. So I'm not going to drag you guys back to that. Just know that what you saw there was my sales are all over the map, and I'm going to fix this whole live stream thing. I literally set it up in 5 minutes while I was buying time when Josh was on his live.
This kills me seeing this. This breaks my heart. I just love Yosemite. I love Northern California, man. I miss it so much. El Capitan.
Well, we're going to California in a couple weeks. I mean, it's a nice place to visit, but you really don't want to live there.
I'm
Anybody
okay
who's
with
lived
it.
there, and anyone is well. I mean, compared to like, I mean, you're in Canada. I'm not trying to be rude about Canada, but it's it's we've had this discussion before.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Uh,
an offline discussion, I think.
so is this sort of the time of year for most people where sales just die off? What do you think? What's your
John, I
opinion?
had in my chat. I had people. It's mixed. There are people that said it's not been great, and there are a lot of regulars that are like, you know what? It's rocking. It's
Yeah.
really going good. Just keep it going like this, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting, or at least hoping to, on my main account, to really build up some momentum. Now, I'm doing it without offsite ads this time, as I was talking about on the Profit Playbook podcast. Pretty decent days. I had a good Friday, had a just okay Saturday, and today is kind of just okay on the main account. Uh, so the goal for me, though, really going into 2025, making it through 2024 and then getting into 2025 is to really ramp up not the main store. If I can keep the main store around 200 items, making the same 2 to 300 items, making the same amount that we did this year, like 140,000, I think, is what we made on that main store with gross sales. I'm happy with that. And then build the second store up to about 1,000 items. I think I can maintain that because you're dealing with a lot smaller items. The goal eventually is to build a store that can really replace the main store in five to 10 years. The amount of volume and sales, and I just figure that build the second store up slowly to where I can achieve, and all I really need to do is achieve an average of $500 to $600 a day in sales. If I can achieve that, then my bills are paid for, can go and do things and have a little money on the side. So how does your sales this year with the addition, all the changes you made the latter part of the year, how do you compare to, let's say, 2023 for you?
For me,
Yeah, for you, for you,
for me, for me,
for you.
I think I'm down 2% on eBay year over year.
Okay.
I've been down as much as 30%. I've been up 10% year over year. Um, but Yeah, I'm down about 2%. I think year over year. I'm happy with it though because I have a big rally here right now in December.
Mm-hmm.
Sales are good. I don't feel like there are any issues on the site. Me personally, I have not noticed it, and I'm the first to say something, or maybe James is, but I've noticed a lot of changes and a lot of issues and a lot of ups and downs and shark teeth. I'm not seeing that right now. For me, it's fairly steady, with the exception of those 3 days. But I can stomach that and handle it. So you know, knock on
Particle
solid
board.
stone. Yeah, particle board.
Well, I just think that the focus is different, right? Your focus is a little bit different than it may have been in the past, where you're looking. It was almost like we were doing these episodes, and we're looking for like, why am I failing at eBay, right? When I think the answer kind of lied within us the whole time. Is that
Well,
is that fair?
I don't think so. No,
No.
uh, no. I think. See, the thing is, I had people when I was going through the struggles, and I watch Isaiah go through his struggles.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Isaiah, but he did a video recently where he was talking about how difficult things were, and he's like, I'm stressed and I'm like having panic attacks and all this other stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I remember that. I'm like, Isaiah, I'm rooting for you. Keep going, keep going. And people are saying all this shit-eating stuff in his comments, like it's because of this, it's because of that, and blah blah blah. The fact of the matter is, Isaiah runs a very successful business. His business is profitable. He moves a lot of items, and the people that are, saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. Most of them are not even making a quarter of what he makes. The guy's doing like 160 or 170,000 a year. The issue is it's not enough to cover all the bills and get new inventory and pay for the old inventory and everything else and
Yeah.
all the other stuff that you need when you're growing a business. So for me, like it's not that my business was failing, it's just that I had not grown to the point that I was comfortable. And
Right.
I think that your first 3 years of business, if you're really pushing it, is just going to be hard no matter what. I was reinvesting a ton back into the business. John, I remember times, and I know I'm on a diatribe, where I had like, you know, I $500 would come in, I'm buying inventory right away. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I have a huge build payment in 3 days, but I can't pass this up. And it was like that over and over and over again. And now I feel like I have a bit of breathing room, which is why when I watch Isaiah, I'm like, man, the stuff you're going through, it's really good for you. And it has to happen. And you're going to come out a beast. I promise. Just keep going.
Well, there's going to be changes constantly with eBay, and I think that's the alarm of dealing with a lot of these changes. Last year was a big problem, and just trying to figure out how to deal with them. But I guess what I was trying to say is that if we can go back and do 2023 over again, I think I would have focused a little differently on what I can control rather than what eBay was forcing me to, have to scramble to do this and that, or to
Yeah,
make
but we
changes here
we
and there.
were in we were in the fog of war, and we
Yeah.
were we were like very loud about saying, "Hey, we don't know what's going on here, but we're gonna throw our hat in the ring and try and figure it out." And for some people, that might have been like, "Oh, they're blaming others or whatever the case may be." But in the fog of war, when things were working and then they weren't, and there were like changes on the site and all this other stuff, I think I think we did the right thing to try and figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And now maybe looking back,
But
we're
did
like,
we?
well,
Did
there's
we figure it out? Did we really figure it out? Because see, you
I
you
learned,
went a 180. You went a different way with your business, which didn't
yeah,
even involve eBay.
no, but I did learn a lot. I did learn a ton. I learned a lot about the platform, how it works, the direction that they're going, direction that I felt like I needed to go. I even just learning like, hey, there's no magic bullet. There's no like finding the secret. It's just do and do and do and just be the
Right.
best that you can. You're
Right.
gonna have
And
good
maybe
days and
that's the
bad days.
secret. Maybe that's the secret sauce, right?
Yeah,
It's not all the trying to figure out, what makes eBay run. It's more figuring out how you can best adapt to the way eBay is running. And that might mean you have to pivot from time to time as eBay makes changes, but I think also it's forming a plan. So like you, I've sort of formulated a plan in the middle of this year to really try to do what I was avoiding doing for the last 2 years, and that is trying to streamline my main store, which is fine. I'm good with that, but it's to try to stay away from a larger volume size store.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of stores with huge volume with low sales, and it kind of made me feel like if I go that route, maybe that's what's in store for me. But I really believe that a lot of it is, what you choose to put in your store, and I know that upsets a lot of people, but I just have sort of a rule that I use, that I'm not putting anything in my store that is like, $6 free shipping, and stuff that's
Yeah.
not going to make whatever effort I put into the listing. It's not going to it's going to make me something. And while I'm making more sales on the second store, but I'm making still making about a 40 to 48% profit margin on average on my items, even at a lower price point. But I'm making more listings and I'm selling smaller items, if that makes sense. So the goal for me is, if I was doing this 20 years ago, I would try to ramp up my main store, because you know in the prime of your life, you can handle large items. It's just trying to get away from stuff that will literally like break my back in 10 years.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
you've got
I
back
think we
here.
all need to have some kind of a plan on where do we want our business to be in 5 to 10 years, rather than just uh, kind of just winging it as we go. I think a lot of
You
people
know
do
what?
that.
You know what I found is that one thing that I changed a lot of, and sometimes when I watch Isaiah, I'm like, I wish I could sit down with him over coffee and just be like, hey, can we sit down and have a coffee? One of the biggest things I learned from going through everything that I went through in the first 3 years is I was very focused on the back end, where I was like, how my numbers, how can I earn more? How can I do this? How can I do that? And I was less focused on customer, product, customer experience, all that stuff. Once I switched my focus, I mean, I'm still down 2%, so maybe this experiment isn't going to work, but now that's all I care about. Even at a higher expense for the business, I want excellent customer experience. I want to find the coolest, best stuff, and I want it to come through my store, even even if it's a break even thing. Especially if I'm listing in volume. I want to engage the customer. I want them talking to me. I want them involved in the stuff that I'm doing. So I want to network with dealers, that all that stuff, and I'm not worried about the back end as much. And I think it's working out better.
But I think you would be worrying about the back end if you weren't making money. I'm sure you're doing well as compared to last year. Would you say?
Yeah, it's been a better year because I did a lot of wholesale, which I kind of dumped, not dumped, but I haven't been doing it as much. But yeah, it's a little less stressful now. There's a lot of inventory. All this stuff is still moving. I think part of the things with this business is, and people will disagree, especially the high sell-through rate people. But if you're in collectibles and antiques, which is all I can talk about, because that's all I know, you've got to build an inventory up,
Mm-hmm.
because everything you have, you need to wait for the buyer that wants it. You know, this is like Temple of Zion Park in Utah. Until someone goes on vacation there and they want the collectible.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know what you just did. Now I can't hear you. Can you guys hear me at least? I can't hear you, and your screen did something funny there, like you zoomed in or something. Well, I'll go ahead and talk because we can't hear Josh now. I think you killed your audio. So what I guess I was trying to say is that the things that, like, I'll use Josh as an
Hear me now?
example. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hear
That
me?
yeah. So what I guess I was trying to get to is that the things that the like to do's, like I want to be able to take this stuff and to um, really promote what I'm selling, and to do it in a way where you have your own site, and you're contacting museums, and you're really doing the part of the business that you love, that doesn't always have to do with reselling, right? You may be
Yeah,
dealing with an item that you never
barely at
sell,
all.
but you are spending time on that item. But these things are possible because the fact that you are making money. I promise you, if it would be very hard to do some of the things that you would want to do if you weren't able to make it work. I think there's a lot of people that think that you're maybe sacrificing making money on the platform just to, to give a lot of these items what you call provenance, right? So these are things that you want to do, but it wouldn't be possible without it being profitable. And I don't even know
Yes.
your store, but I do know you well enough to know that you're
You
not going
know
to
my
sacrifice
store.
making money over, you know,
You know
this
my
is a
store.
like to do thing. It's not
Well,
it's not
here's
required for you to make money selling this kind of stuff. Is what I'm saying.
here's the thing with antiques that I've also learned. Your name is everything. Your name is absolutely everything. I have dealers that I've dealt with that I've found like a few fake things or a few wrong things. I will never deal with them again because I don't want that garbage.
Right.
So I'm always trying to like punch up with these guys that are really 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 good. Um, so what I want to do is build an inventory of really really good stuff, and I also want to build my reputation. But I I can't set myself apart by just listing stuff. You know, I want people to know this guy is really, this he's there. This is him. This is, when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like I saw someone post on Reddit. They said, um, "I'm thinking about getting into antiques. Are there any resellers that do antiques?" And the person said, "Go to Josh Galt. He's really good. Talk to him. He knows his stuff." And that made me feel really good. And I want to build that reputation, but I can't do that unless I just provide this excellent, awesome customer experience. I could be wrong, and you're right. It does take money to do this. It does take money to do this. The buys, $10,000 buy, $5,000 buy, 100%. And I couldn't do this if money wasn't coming in. But it's not. It can. Okay, can we agree on this, John? I think my business is comfortable enough that it no longer has to be the primary focus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I guess that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Two
Yeah.
years ago, there's no way you can do what you're doing right now, and I
No
think
way I can do. No.
I think
No.
you're growing without even really, I guess, realizing it. Maybe you do, but I think your business is growing, and you're nowhere where you were 2 years ago, and that's a good sign. So, what does the next 2-3 years look like for you? What do you think? Are you progressing to where you can continue to do really cool things with what you're selling, or are you this is where you want to be?
So I want to keep going with the stereo views and the pictures. I think that's going to be its own separate business. And I have some great ideas for that business. I really want to build it up. There's a big dealer that I'm working with. He wants to build a co-op that I'm really nervous about. So I don't know about that. But I know he can draw business, and he's probably one of the best there is. So I don't know. I've seen so many antique places and co-ops go under that scares me. But this guy is the best of the best. If anyone can do it, it's him. And I want to keep getting good collections coming in here. This year coming up, I want to go to shows. I want to go to Brimfield. I'm going to Brimfield. I want to go to the Bottle Show. I want to go to 3D Con and you know get out there and meet people. Um, so that's kind of the goal. And also, I want to get some real showstopper pieces. So I got those Ansley Adams, Dorothea Lange stuff. I got this really crazy, crazy horse picture, which might be one of one, like the only one that's ever existed, or maybe like it's the only photo ever taken. This was the original.
Mhm.
That's going to be huge if it pans out. But I want to get top-notch pieces that buyers on eBay can pick up. So in the $1,000, $5,000 range, 4,000, 3,000, really showstoppers where they're like, "What the heck is that?" So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I'm at a place where I'm never gonna. I don't think I'm ever going to do what you're doing. Just I sell everything, and there's nothing special about what I sell. There's nothing to really be proud about. Anywhere from Dyson
There's lots to
batteries
be.
to
Don't say there's nothing to be proud about. There's lots to
well,
be proud
th-
about. John, you built a business out of nothing. Like you were working for the railroad. good job, good everything, but you replaced your income by yourself.
Right.
Did it you?
But this is
You know,
something that
that's
anyone can do. What
huge.
what what I did was nothing special. It's something that anyone, if they put
True.
their mind to it, that they can do. Now,
No, it's
it's
like
not to
90%
be compared with
failure
what
rate.
you're doing. I'm just trying to say that what you're doing, I think has a lot of meaning to you and others that are in that niche. But you're making something of reselling the type of item. If I could actually niche down, and this I say this all the time, if I can niche down and to really get into something that I enjoy and sell it on eBay, and at the same time, the priority is making a profit, I would certainly do that in a heartbeat. Whether it's
Well,
bowling or
that's
golf or anything that I enjoy doing, I would do it. It boils down to sourcing, and therefore, I'm going to be limited to what I can find to resell, which is at this point everything.
well, that was really nice of you to say. We should have a little bro hug after this.
No, I really do think that you found the thing that you enjoy and you made it work with reselling. That's not easy to do. And to say, well, you quit your job, and well, I didn't quit my job. We took a severance package. You left your career and you made eBay work.
I will say, I
Anybody
will
can do
say,
that. I really
I
do
will say,
feel that way.
I
Good.
will say, going back to Isaiah, is my volume still on?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So going back to Isaiah, when I see like, and I love so much the fact that he's so candid and talking. Everybody's got to watch his video. He's like, he's just basically documenting exactly what he's doing. And I remember, and I've told the story before. I was in Bracebridge, Ontario, and I was sitting in my car in the middle of the night, and I was like, I can't, I don't know what to do. Like, I was just at my bottom, and I told everyone that, and I appreciate him telling everyone that. But I'm now looking back on that period of my life as one of the best things that's ever happened, because it forced me to go in directions that I may not have gone. It forced me to think of things and try new things. And I was like, hey, if I try this, why don't I try that? Why don't I try this? Also, when I would come on here and I would fail and I would tell people I failed it, like I tried this and I failed at it, I felt really, really bad, and like I was letting everyone down, and people were commenting like, this is a joke, you're failing. It really took it in, and it took me going through that whole process to be like, no, failure is actually awesome. You're just crossing things
Right.
off the list.
Right.
Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. Just try it and fail it. And if it doesn't work, try something else. Nobody cares. And once I got to that point, I was like, we can do anything. We can do this. So, it's a pivotal moment. I feel like Isaiah's going through that, and I can't wait to see, how that resolves. And this guy is gonna be doing shows in 10 months, and he's gonna be like, it was the best thing that ever happened. It was awesome.
I
I
really
think.
do feel like you really need to fail. I mean, nobody wants to fail, but I really think you
Nobody
need to
wants
fail.
to.
If you come out of the gate as a reseller and just everything's going your way from sourcing to sales to everything, what's going to happen? Let's say you have a good solid run of a year or two of that, and then all of a sudden it all goes away. The sources that you had are no longer there; they dry up. Uh, Maybe the category you're selling in isn't as hot. What do you do then? Do you just say, okay, it's over with, I quit? Or compared to the reseller that has gone through the ups and downs, and they know how to adjust, they know how to pivot, they know what to do when that item's not selling, and they can make reselling work, for instance,
Yeah, but
whatever the adjustment has to be.
a lot of people are on here for different reasons. There are a lot of people that, like, the worst thing that can happen is that they take a blow to their ego. So they're protecting their ego, and they're not being honest with the way things are going. There are other people that are on here just documenting their journey and being like, I don't know what to do, or, maybe you can help me, maybe you can't, but this is what I'm going through. And everyone has a different reason for doing YouTube videos. But I think those people who honestly have never had any troubles in their business, they're either lying or they're blind as to what's going on. Because as a business owner, your number one hat is problem solver. You know, the things that are going good in your business, you don't change those things. You just keep doing them. But the problem after problem after problem after problem, it is your job as the business owner to put all those fires out and deal with all the issues: money, sourcing, you know, slow spell, all of it, all of it. You got to deal with it all the stress, everything. So if someone says I don't ever have any problems, I don't believe it. It's impossible. Every business has problems. You just don't. It's not like you turn on the engine and it goes, because then everybody would do it. There'd be like a really low failure rate.
Well, there's different levels of problems. I mean, one day of bad sales is a huge problem to one reseller as compared to, look, I haven't made a sale in 2 weeks. And if I don't make a sale or start making sales here, I'm going to have to, figure something
Yeah,
else out. That's a problem, right?
but
We've
I
talked about
I
the
have
last few years. I mean, neither of us have had this problem where the last 3 years, it's like, if my sales don't improve, I'm going to have to step away. You did for different reasons, but not because
yeah.
of sales. And I know that there's been many times where, like, the sales are horrible, but it's never been that bad.
Yes, but you can have great sales and you can be doing well and just have this like spate of bad luck where you just all of a sudden have to pay all this money, and that can be enough to really kind of put you in a bind. But again, when that happens, if you can make it through those things, it's really good actually, because it just makes your business that much stronger. Um, Things that would have really bothered me when I first started, like a negative feedback or a customer that's just really, really being brutal, or, I don't care about that stuff anymore. Like, yeah, no problem, return it. They leave me negative feedback. I just write in there, have any questions?
Yep.
Free returns. I'm sorry you're disappointed. Move on. I don't care.
Yep. I actually
Comments
saw
used to
that.
really bother me. Comments. People are like, you know, you're bad business. You don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I am probably bad at this. So it got in. Now I'm like, dude, if I wouldn't seek advice from you, I certainly wouldn't take your criticism, whoever you are, like fart bubble 69. Like, who the hell is this person even? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it steals you, it forces you to get better, and you bounce off these things, and you get stronger in my mind. And I'm sure I'll meet other obstacles as I go on.
No, you're right. You're right. Being a YouTuber really does. It has its rewards. You meet great people on here, but you also meet people who just maybe have watched one video and all they want to put out there that they know pretty much know everything you're about, and they summarize in their mind, who you are. When it's like, have you watched the other 300 videos of what I was saying differently about this topic? And
Yeah.
it's kind of unfair sometimes. We put ourselves out there, right? We can't complain about it. It's like celebrity complaining about getting exposure, about something that goes
Yeah.
down, that
Yeah.
they don't want. It just You put yourself out there, so this is part of it. Why
And
do you
again,
do this, Josh? I mean, what really motivates you to, you know, Sunday night you're working out in the warehouse that you're at, and you're like, let's go live. You're not monetized, so I mean, what really motivates you to do this?
well, that's a good question, actually. I think I don't know why. I really probably like loneliness, maybe. At
eBay
least I
Island.
know that if I, yeah, if you put your channel out there, if you go out there, you're gonna talk to people who are like-minded. Most of the people that I talk to are going through the same things that I'm going through. They're building businesses, they're working, and sometimes it's like I need to talk to someone. I just want to talk to somebody. Um, I think now I'm using it as a way to showcase some super cool things that I'm running into. Like, why just put them in the store? Why not just show people how cool that stuff is? And that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember when you
but
didn't even want anyone to know your store. You're like, I'm good. I don't need anyone to know what my store is on eBay. You've come a long
yeah,
way since
because
then.
I was catching hate, and I was on the edge already with sales and everything, and people who were finding it out, they're reporting items and doing all this and that. I don't care anymore. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I think it's part of it is just like putting yourself out there. If you want to sell antiques, you got to come on camera and everything else and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Um, you know, I have friends of mine. Like, I get together with my friends. The first thing they talk about is YouTube. Like, you're making a jackass of yourself. What are you doing on YouTube? You'll never be able to get a job again. I'm like, no, I'm fully committed. This is it. I'm going for it. So, um, but yeah, I didn't give it up and all this other stuff. But I've learned from that too. That was probably not the right way. I mean, people can figure out my store if they really want to. Other people were doing the same thing, but
So what are you listing tonight? What are you working on?
I got stereo views to do.
A lot of them, huh? You go and buy more, or you
Uh,
just the same batch?
yeah, look at. I don't know. Can you see this one? Look at all those elephant tusks.
Mm.
This is in Kenya. I don't know if you can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks
That's
good.
crazy. Crazy. There's got to be 30 tusks.
So this
What a
is a
problem that was.
topic we've discussed that ever since you
Are you
mentioned.
getting comments, John? Can you see
Yeah,
comments?
yeah, yeah. They're watching away. So
Okay.
I just, like I said at the beginning, I literally set this scene up in OBS Studio, uh, and I didn't set up the chat right where I can actually highlight it for you guys like I can on my Monday live. So the way, for those of you guys aren't familiar with OBS Studio, you create what are called scenes. So I can't just jump to my flippin' ain't easy setup that I normally have on Mondays and Fridays because it just wouldn't work that way. It's separate from what we're doing right now is separate from all the other things that we do, like
Can you
profit
read out
playbook
some
on.
comments?
Yeah, I can. I
Do you have any
can.
questions or anything?
I can. Let's see. Let's see if I have any questions here. Big Dre says I'm going to send a message to a customer tonight to let them know if USPS delivered their package back to me because they put the wrong address. I'll charge them 99 cents plus shipping if I relist it. A lot of people just talking about the sound and stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening. Bass says eBay's still not picking up well. Basically, since September, went from 38,000 total to 27,000. No idea why. Randomness, probably. Hard to say. I mean, when we're trying to figure out sales, a lot of people will send a message saying, "Hey, my sales have died," or "I need help trying to figure out why, I'm not making money at this like I used to." And it's like I can't tell you. I don't know what you're selling. If you're selling laptops, if you're selling, you know, costume jewelry, I have no idea. It could be a wide array of what you're selling. You'd be selling everything or anything that you find, like a lot of people, and it still wouldn't help me even know where to even begin to help somebody. I get all kinds of requests via email. Not as many as I used to because I was asking people to send me emails, but there's a lot of folks out there struggling still. And Josh just died. Not even died, but his link died. Um don't know what happened to Josh. I will try to get him back on the screen for you guys. There. Oop. Maybe he'll come back in. He like left the room. So, well, guys, that was fun. Let's see who else we have with us tonight. And again, I can't show the comments on the screen, so I apologize. Susan Phelps says, I got lucky and not much sourcing. Inherited from two different parents and in-laws from the WW2, World War II generation. So much stuff. I have asked my kids and really no interest. Don't understand. So that's a great start. A lot of people would love to have World War II stuff to sell. We have Pete. Craigslist Hunter says, happy holidays, everyone. Thank you, Pete. Happy holidays to you. Was hoping to have Josh on a little longer. Maybe talk a little bit about 2024 and some takeaways from 2024. More of a end of the year type video. But it looks to me that, at least for now, he is maybe not coming back. I don't know. So I will go make my screen a little bit bigger here for a few more minutes. Let's see. John Worldwide Weber says, my business has always been just a part of my personal development. And I think there's many people who can say that they really didn't have a lot of business experience, and through just dealing with eBay, learning how to buy something, and then to know how much to buy it for, and then to learn how much to price it at, and then here we are. I think Josh says my internet died. Yeah, his internet died. So I don't think Josh is going to be back with us tonight. But I really do believe that a lot of people do get into reselling and have no experience. Maybe they're in construction most of their life, or maybe a job that doesn't interface with customers, and they have to learn. What does a retail business really do? I mean, how do you? I had a friend that it used to live in Vegas. He moved overseas, but he wanted to sort of supplement his retirement income with reselling. And one day we were at the Raider Stadium over here in Vegas, and we were looking at. They had one of those tents set up where every year in like March they put out the merchandise from the previous year. They put it on sale, and we were out there like looking at some of the merchandise, and he was like grabbing everything, going, "Wow, this would sell good. That would sell good. This would sell good." And I'm thinking to myself, "There's no way you're buying merchandise even at a discounted price from an NFL source like the Raiders, and you're gonna make money. It's just not possible." Um, I had to explain to him that you really have to. Something might look cool, but it doesn't mean it's going to make you money. You might buy it for 10 and only sell it for 15. And I think a lot of people have to learn that, and they don't have that experience like him. He worked with the Air Force all of his life. He's never had to sell anything in his life. And to when he split a pallet with me one time, and many of you guys know the story, he quit like 2 weeks later. He didn't want to deal with the returns. He didn't want to deal with all the questions. Didn't want to deal with the customers. Didn't want to deal with cleaning stuff. Didn't want to deal with fixing stuff. He just wanted something he could buy and sell and have no interaction with anyone. Well, eBay doesn't work that way. And I think there's a lot of people that have to learn that. And if you have that experience, I think you do have an advantage. If you have, like me, I had a interfacing experience with the customer. So all my life, we've learned how to deal with nasty people, and how to diffuse situations, and how to sort of smooth things over. Where someone gets their first nasty customer and they've never dealt with the customer before, it could be quite unsettling, and maybe to the point where they get kicked off the platform because they're not handling themselves very well. So there's a lot to learn on eBay, especially if you don't have that life experience. Bass says, I was actually thinking of marketing on Reddit. Those subreddits have niche groups that are exactly the audience. Ever thought of that? Seems they offer paid promos there. So there's a lot of people like on TikTok. They're making great money on TikTok shops. We were at Cowboy Christmas yesterday doing some Christmas shopping. It was like the last day of Cowboy Christmas, and there's a lot of vendors there that were like, yeah, we're talking to a lot of different vendors, and some of them were looking at getting on TikTok just to show their wares, and I guess that's a really huge thing right now. I can't imagine doing that with what I sell. I can see someone like Josh really doing well, getting on there, doing a TikTok. He's already set up for it. Do a TikTok maybe once a week saying, hey, I've got these cool things. If you want to check out more of this, go over to my site. I believe it's was it Wilson Harbor Sales, or WHS stereoviews.com, I believe is his website. And I think that would be one way he could drive traffic. I wish he was on here. Wanted to mention that to him as well, but maybe another time. Peddling Profits says, antique and collectibles, you have to cater more and know what you're talking about when it comes to various items. It takes time to educate yourself. It's well worth it. And if you're doing this as a sort of supplementary way to make income, it's easier to navigate over to the cool things like that, which is why you don't see me selling bowling equipment or a lot of golf equipment. I do sell a little bit that I find at yard sales, but I'm not really specialized in anything that I enjoy, because doing this is, for me, 100% about paying the bills and replacing an income that I used to have, living a lifestyle that allows me to travel to see my kids, or go out to dinner with Jenna, or to a show like we did last night, and being able to do it without worrying, hey, how am I going to pay my bills this week? So I think everyone has their different motivations, but many of us are either trying to make this work full time, or we're just trying to supplement income. And it would be nice to sell things we like, but it's just not possible for everyone. So I do envy Josh in what he has going on, because he gets the best of both worlds. He gets to do what he likes. He gets to handle the things that he enjoys handling, and he gets to make money doing it. It's sort of like watching a football game. We can think back when we were kids, like, hey, I have a dream of being a professional athlete, to play a kid's game and to make money. Well, Josh is sort of doing that in his own world, dealing with things that he enjoys dealing with, and he's making it profitable for him. And not many people can say that. Let's see if I can find any more comments. American Legend says, I wouldn't sweat the haters. They're not your audience anyway. Appealing to your haters is just like moving the football backwards so the other team can win. Yeah, but at the same time, we care. And see, you get comments from people, and someone like Pete, Craigslist Hunter, I don't know if he's still watching, but I'm sure he can understand. As great of a channel as he has come across people that have been nasty and I would say maybe unfair, maybe watched one episode not knowing who he's about and making all these assumptions about him based on one interaction with a customer, or that type of thing, or one topic. Maybe I'm discussing a topic and you don't quite agree with how I'm handling that topic, so therefore you think I'm like the worst thing that you've come across this year. And we care. We want, and you inherently want people to, if they're tuning into your program, you inherently want them to enjoy your content. And what's hard to understand is there's so many YouTube channels out there. If you don't like me or what I'm saying, why are you watching my channel, let alone remarking in the chat? And it just, maybe as an adult, and I don't know who we're dealing with, maybe kids or children or whatever, but as an adult, I just can't imagine going onto someone's channel and just saying things at them. I don't have that kind of time. I don't know. Let's see what else we have here. Mike Metco, or Mike Metco Meetups. Go check his channel. If I could flash his link, I would. But he says, I went directly from a service industry to eBay instantly with no reselling experience whatsoever. YouTube provided all the info I needed to make the transition. And I think that's a great point. Before I even thought about doing this channel, I was already watching YouTube. In fact, I think back, I've been watching YouTube at least a solid 2 to 3 years before I even did my own channel, and a good solid 2 years before I decided to. I was kind of forced into it, into this. I mean, I could have went out and got another job as soon as I got my severance package, but that 2 years of experience of not only selling part time and watching others on YouTube really gave me the confidence to say, you know what, I can make this thing work. And it was a bit unsettling at first. I didn't know. I mean, you're taking that blind leap of faith. But if you're willing to, and I think that's why YouTube is such an important part of our success. Not the fact that we have a channel, but so many people like Pete and Bearded Picker and others who have paved the way and provided this content and provided this information for free. I think there's a lot of people who are watching this right now who could care less about me or Josh or anyone else, but are sure happy to take the information for free. And we're happy to give it, but it's those unsavory comments that really make you feel. And I know Josh has felt this way. I know Beard's felt this way. I know I've felt this way, and others. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I even doing a video if this is the reaction that people are going to give me? If I'm that, bad of a person in someone's eyes because I have an opinion, maybe this isn't for me. There's been many times I've thought about just stepping away, but then I think the one thing that's kept me here is the community. You guys on a late Sunday night, you guys could be doing anything. I mean, your weekend shipping, and you guys have tuned in to Josh earlier this evening, and then into this show. So that's what keeps us going. So it's you guys that you guys are the glue that keeps it all together. DM Ephemeris says, Scott, I just wrenched everyone, and John won't anything to talk about. I don't know what that meant. John Doe, I've been a factory worker most of my life. A little over 3 years ago, I discovered eBay, and I'm 100% trying to go full time now. If I only discovered it 20 years ago. And I discovered it many, many years ago. I can't say I regret. See, I make as much, if not more, than I made when I was working in in management. And my thought was, wow, I could have done this years ago. Do I regret not doing it years ago? No, because there's things that I learned, a lot of business skills that I learned because of the last 7 to 10 years of working where I worked. So that I carried over to doing this. If I didn't have that experience, I think it would have been a lot harder to go full time. Tommy Z says, sourcing tip: let everyone you run into basically know you're a reseller, and if they have anything to part with, you're the person to talk to better than any thrift store. I think that's great. I think if you're going to a yard sale, I don't know if you necessarily want to, and a lot of you guys aren't even doing yard sales right now, but I passed like 4 or 5 of them this weekend. Believe it or not, people need the money. But you go to your yard sale, you try to find what you're looking for, buy what you pick out, and then at the end let them know you're a reseller. I think some people look at you sideways and may not be willing to cut you deals if they know you're a reseller on the get-go. But now if you're telling them, look, you have a problem, a lot of people are like, look, I either need the money or I'm trying to make space in my garage, or whatever, and you let them know, hey, I can help you with that, maybe we can work out a deal, then that's a good opportunity to let them know that you're a reseller. The Crazy Card says, yeah, you say something in contrast of what someone else is stating as fact, and some feelings get hurt, then it turns into a credible pissing match. It does. Jules Y75, when you stop learning, you stop growing. 25 years on eBay, and I learned something new every day, and especially from you all that are on here. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. We this is what it's like Josh going live today just for no reason at all. It's not like, well, hey, I need to bring up my views because I need to make more money, because he's not monetized. That he did it because, well, he enjoys the community. I can tell you that. And eBay Island is a real thing. You're doing this by yourself, and you have so much joy that you're experiencing with what you're working with, and there's no one to share it with but you and your thoughts. And you notice, like, even on this live, he shared like 3 things, right? It's that joy of what he's selling that he wants to share with the world. And some people won't really appreciate that. It's for many channels out there. It's all about the views. How do I trick someone into clicking on my live stream or my video so that I can make some money? Unfortunately, Michelle Kirkpatrick says, I'm a medical professional who has taken some time away due to burnout, and I started selling on eBay 4 years ago. It's been a fulfilling experience, and I couldn't imagine. There's been times in the past, like going back like 2.5 years ago, when Jen and I were driving to supplement our eBay income. We were driving Uber Eats, just the way it was. And she told me, you're going to need to go get a job. And we had disagreements about that. My thought was, I'm making just as much right now, even at struggling, that I would make at any entry-level job. And she kept saying, well, you're underselling yourself. But it's like, I'm 5 years removed, or at the time, like 3 years removed from holding any job. The farther you are removed from actually having employment, the harder it is to secure any kind of reasonable job or meaningful job. I don't think I'm going to be able to replace what I'm making now, let alone what you think I should be making on eBay. And it's a tough decision that you have to make, but I'm a firm believer, if you do this and you do it right, even with yard sales, you can replace a minimum wage income. There's no reason anyone that's watching should be working. If you had a choice between reselling and minimum wage, reselling should win every time. Now, maybe you're doing both. Maybe you have to do both to supplement. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know that we're not above. This having a channel that at the time was making more than it is now, we're not above supplementing our eBay income if things get bad. Samantha Hunter, hi John. Just a quick hello this evening to you and FA viewers. I'll rewatch later. Hi Jenna. See you tomorrow. Hope you're good and sales are great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Peddling Profits says, doesn't matter what others think. Share and discuss what you know and tried. Ignore the negativity. You can't help those people anyway. Yeah, it is true. It's easier said than done, though. Especially if you don't care. Like, look, I don't care. People say whatever they want. Then maybe it's easier. But I've for whatever reason, always cared, and therefore, I'll see a comment like someone said. Okay, I'll give you an example. Many of you guys know that I have this little running thing where I call the people that come to visit us, whether they're friends or family, we call them just distractions, because as much as you love them, you want to spend time with them, and therefore you, especially this time of year, Christmas, and the fact that we live in Vegas, well, they're taking you away from your business. And anything that you encounter, whether it's YouTube, maybe, people coming in from town, your health, anything that you deal with that takes you away from the goal of making money on eBay is labeled as a distraction. And, I've said that in jest, but there's one viewer out there who just grilled me on PPP this week that, shame on you. This is your family, your friends. They came out to visit you. You shouldn't call them that. And it's like, wow. I mean, just trying to make it in jest, but that does bother me, because it's like there's no fiber in my being that would say I'd rather have my reselling business over my family and friends. It's just the way it is. It's you have to rank what's important to you, and it may seem like reselling is the most important thing to me, but you have to give it some level of importance. Otherwise, it'll just, you won't get the results you want. But in no way, shape, or form does that mean that my family is not important to me? And for someone to say that I know has only watched this channel for about a good solid month or two, they don't know me that well to know that I joke in that way. And my family, they expect me to joke in that way. That's my personality. They wouldn't have it any other way. Beard says, I'm a former YouTuber who doesn't get an invite. What the hell? It didn't go down like that, Beard. In fact, it was one where Josh went live, and I jumped on there. I just made dinner, and I was going to go live later to actually show my my little what do you call it? It's more of a dilemma in that I want to utilize the priority discount that eBay's given me for priority promoted listings, and I was going to do a live where it was more interactive, where I have you guys on there with me, give me your thoughts and maybe what you do, and I'm going to do that. My other scenario, my other scene on OBS would allow me to do that. And I told Josh, hey, I was going to go live, but I'll wait till you're done. And he said, well, let's go live on your channel. And I'm like, well, I don't have it set up for a guest yet, but I guess give me 15 minutes and I'll try to set it up. And I wanted to do that anyway at some point. So it was just more of in the moment. And I did think of, well, maybe we should contact Scott, but I just wasn't sure that you'd want to do it. So we didn't even reach out. So I apologize. Paul Rose it's about 3 a.m. or 2:38 in the morning out there. So yeah, sorry to wake you up. Hopefully the notification didn't wake you up. Pat D's a traveling picker. Go live after and find some people to keep you company. Yeah. If you want to go live, I'll jump on with you. Beard. Pat D says, I don't go live much. Sometimes I don't feel that people value it, or some people just want to be negative. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that people, you say, hey, I think I'm going to sell these trinkets, and someone will, it's okay to have an opinion. Like, I would never sell that, right? But to go on and to just piss on their parade and type in the chat just negativity, and does that really make you feel better? I mean, how does that make you feel better? You just, had something negative to say about someone who's taking time to try to share their life, their business with the world. Who knows who's watching? And of all the things that that person had to say, you have nothing to take away. You know, like the PPP, we usually have a lot of good nuggets of information, and it just baffles me that they won't focus on the good stuff that we give them, the good information. They want to focus on, you know, the one line thing that I said that they found an offense to. It's just crazy to me. Christopher Nutter says, there's resellers I know worked for a company 20 years, got laid off, now pushing eBay full time without trying to find another job. Yeah, it can work. If you make it work, it'll work. Josh says, I'm heading back home. I started my router, but it's still giving me limited connectivity. Yeah, I figured you weren't going to be able to make it back. And I'm just going to get through these comments, and we'll probably just sign off here. John Doe says, I'm listing hats right now, and it literally just updated with a lot of new options. Can someone else check it out? I haven't sold a hat in a while, so it may be category specific. Wish I had an answer for you. Someone like James, he goes by James Helferstay now. I thought he was at, his channel was The Great Reseller Life, but I guess he's changed it. He's one that might have some information on that. Christopher Nutter says, I've been watching your channel way before Jenna came on the show. Okay, that's quite some time, a good solid year and a half, maybe 2 years. Susan says, I find friends kind of ignore me when I talk about my sales online. Quit talking about it, still sell without their praise. And that's one thing. I've got a lot of people that I consider friends that don't resell. Like those of you who remember that video I put out earlier this year, like back in like the spring, where I had a non-reseller friend go with me to his local flea market. And we spent an hour, and I gave him $20. I said, I want you to buy whatever you can with this $20 with the intention of making money, reselling. And he was like, this is hard. You know, just trying to find, eventually he started buying stuff for his granddaughters. And it's like, whatever. But, you know, it's not something that you can have a conversation with these people because they don't really understand the ins and outs of it. Jules says, nothing wrong with having healthy boundaries, and family has to understand this is your job and you may be home, but that doesn't mean you don't have to work. It's difficult for some to truly understand. And it is. And it's they know, though. They understand what I'm going through. And when they come over, they kind of work around me. So they're in the living room. They're hanging out. I'll go and take a break, go hang out for a while. But at the end of the day, you know, if they're here for days on end, I got to get out in that garage and I got to get my stuff going. But it is a distraction because if they weren't here, I would get like double the stuff done. Now, does that mean I don't want them here? No, I'd have them here every day if I could. I mean that. You know, if I can have my family here, because you don't know how much time you have left, you know, and it's just making moments with people. But I do realize that it would be I don't know if I could do this full time if they were here because I wouldn't get anything done. So, with that said, I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your evening. Make sure you're with us tomorrow on the live from 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We usually go for a couple hours. I don't know that Beard's going live until next year. I think he's going to stand pat with not doing social media for a while. And I've thought about that myself. I've thought about stepping away to maybe give some time off, but my reselling wouldn't be the same if I did. We've gone too far, almost 5 years now. Next month, in 2 weeks, it'll be 5 full years of the Flippin' Ain't Easy channel, and I just can't imagine not doing videos. And I need to make more videos. And the one thing I want to do, and I'm very, very happy with this OBS studio, is I want to make more videos where I can actually show you guys things. And I have it set up now to where it's really a good broadcast, and it's not really spotty. And I don't want to edit videos all the time. So I think that, and maybe we can do that to where either I'm pre-recording it or I do it in such a way where there's a lot of people who think, hey, you know, this is a decent channel, but you read too many comments. Maybe I'll save the comments for the end or whatever I'm presenting. So want to thank you guys for being here. I rambled too long. I didn't expect to be on here by myself at this point. I thought Josh would still be here, but we did have a decent conversation. and hopefully we can do that again. So maybe in a week or so we can get together, and we'll drag Scott along for the ride to have a non PPP conversation where we're just three friends hanging out, talking reselling, and dragging you guys along with us for the ride. So, guys, we're almost at the end of 2024. Hopefully, you make the best of it with the 2 weeks we have left. And until tomorrow, we will talk to you guys very soon. Take care.